You guys are brave for being here, given the rain and the conditions, so give yourselves a big round of applause. Alrighty, so I am a small business coach. I'm an entrepreneur, and I want to talk to you today about the human side of this technology and intersection with music. And I had the privilege of working with Mayor Danilo of Miami-Dade County, and we created this program called Strive 305. I was in the county mayor's office for 3 years, and we created that program to support small business owners to be successful, to help you make your dreams come true, right? Whatever they may be. That being said, I want to talk about the human part of AI and the intersection with music. And I'm coming at this just like an artist, right? I've always been an artist since I was a little kid. And I think we're all artists at heart. And that's what makes us the happiest, I think, sometimes, right? And so I'm coming to you from that perspective of the artist and also an explorer, because I love to ride my motorcycle. I take it cross country. This is from the Colorado Rockies. And so it helps me to understand this big world that we live in, right? So this is the perspective that I'm taking on everything I'm going to show you. So that being said, I love musicians because of, you just saw that. To me, that's just magical, what you guys can create. How many of you are musicians? So you guys are amazing, right? As artists, I'm more of a graphic designer, graphic artist. The musicians to me have always been special because it's something that I think is that resonates with every human being on the planet. So congratulations. I had a teacher once tell me that engineers can make, life comfortable, but artists make it worth living. Do you guys agree with that? Right? Who wants to live in a world without music? I certainly don't, right? And all the other arts as well, all the things that we watch, that we go to the movies to see this. We listen to songs, we watch painters work, etc. So I went to ChatGPT and I asked them to give me some hard-hitting questions, and it took a little prompting. Hard-hitting questions for all of us as artists, right? Because if you're a business owner, you're still an artist as well. So here are some things. If AI can generate music that emotionally resonates with the audience, right? Then what unique value do you as a human artist still bring to the table? That's a powerful question. That's the machine's point of view, right? How will you leverage AI to enhance your creativity without losing the essence of your artistry? And how will you adapt your business model when AI can provide high-quality music production at a fraction of the cost? Right? These are critical questions for all of us to think about, really deep questions. And one of the things for me is that the technology is moving so fast. Right? You saw yesterday, it just changed on us. Yesterday, Apple announced Apple Intelligence. So it's not just about these large language models. Now they're going to feed the machines with our own data, right, to give us more personalized experience. So things are moving really quick. Here's what I think I know about this so far that may be useful to you. Can AI make art? What do you guys think about that? Can AI make art? In some ways, yes. But in my view, who is the true artist is the human person, right? The human being. And I hope that we don't lose sight of that ever, because you guys are the heroes of the story, not AI per se. So this is a piece of art that ChatGPT created for me to illustrate large language models. And so I believe that unless you're on the cutting edge that I haven't seen, right? But for the average small business owners, the artists that are in the room, right, it is not able to create art yet. It takes a human being to drive that machine. So there's a lot of truth that's out there that we see, the power of these tools. And there's also a lot of hype surrounding this technology. So we have to keep that balanced, right? And remember that we are the center. We are the creators. And AI as a tool is going to help us unleash that creativity. So there's a lot of hype. Not to name anybody, but there's a lot of different companies that are leading in this space that are creating great things, but are also not telling us everything that they know about this technology or how it is being used and some of its capabilities. So we have to keep the truth and the hype in some sort of balance for us to be effective with this technology, I believe. So I use a simple model, and I'll race right through this. These are all the elements that I track, right? I track the artists, what you guys are all doing and what you want to do to express your creativity. The business people, the business element, and within this scope, there's tons of businesses, right? Record labels, publishers, distributors, etc. The fans, of course, which are central to everything we do. And, of course, government, because it's still early days and there's so much regulation and legislation that may be required to protect our rights, right? How many of you have heard of this case study of Replica? Raise your hand if you've heard of Replica. So this is a curious case study where I think it gives us an insight into what's going to happen, right? Especially on the fan side. Replica is a chatbot that is so realistic that people were mistaking it for an actual human being. And actually, they were falling in love with this chatbot and were sharing like intimate details, including sexual details, right, to this chatbot. And so it got so out of hand that Replica decided, I think last year, to remove and throttle back some of those intimate abilities that the chatbot had. And people were heartbroken. They were heartbroken that you just took away their best friend, right? That you lobotomized my best friend, some of them said. And they were heartbroken. And it felt real to them. And so what that tells us is that people are going to engage with music, right, that's created by artificial intelligences. They are going to engage with these new tools. And they're going to engage in a very deep level. And so we've seen that AI can make music with the help of a human so far, right? Fake Drake. So that means for all the musicians here that you have to not only think about Drake as a competitor, let's say, if you look at it that way, but now also you have to think about fake Drake, right? So now the musicians have a fan base that has options, more options. So if it was hyper competitive before, it's going to be ultra competitive now. So that's important to keep in mind. And it's going to keep growing and growing and growing. Humans will engage with AI-created music. So we know that for sure, I think, right? So that being said, this kind of maps out the way this landscape works, right? Number one, the artists have more competition, but you also have new creation tools. That's powerful. You also have a lower barrier to entry. What you do is magic to me, right? When I see these rock and roll legends, it's magic to me. But now, if I want to create a track that sounds somewhat like that, I can, because there are tools that empower me to do so. So competition from that end. And then, of course, now you have the capability to connect with your audience like never before. On the government side, new legislation, regulation, intellectual property rights, those are things that are still in the early days. We need to work those things out. In the business side, you got legal challenges. Rick Beato has a great video on YouTube about how this is early days, like, and it reminds him of Napster days, right? Remember Kazaa, LimeWire, Napster? Napster went from 2002, I think, LimeWire from 2002, and it died in 2010. It took a decade to sort that mess out of legal issues. So it's going to be similar, but this is much bigger than this. This technology is way more powerful than those technologies. Productivity gains for the business owners, right? You can do more with less. Lower costs, and keeping that hype versus reality balanced, right? And for the fans, more music, more personalization, more genres cater to what you want to listen to, right? That's going to be powerful. And of course, also more noise. So how do I keep track of all this, right? How do I keep track of all these things? So it's very interesting to map it that way. Now, I want to slow things down a little bit, right? So I want to talk to you about the human element. And that's our emergency warnings. Yeah, flash flooding. Anyhow, there's three things that I advise that you all focus on to slow the game down and keep yourself centered. Number one is your values. Number two, it's your strengths. Number three is your uniqueness as an artist, okay? So let's break this down. Values are beliefs that we have about what is important and what should matter most. How many of you have ever mapped your values? Raise your hands. Fantastic, right? Values. Now, the cool thing about values is they come in many flavors, right? And here are some of the ones that speak to me, especially the ones in color. But knowing your values is so central. And when I say values, I mean values that if they were taken away from you, you would cry, right? Enron had beautiful values in their lobby. And you guys know about Enron, right? That's not a value. A value is something that is so deep to you that if I took it away from you, you would literally fall apart. Like for me, it's learning. If I cannot be learning, I don't want to be around, period, right? If everything's going to be drudgery and we can't have fun, I don't want to be around, period. These are the things that are so core to who I am right? That I will fight for them, and I will cry if you take them away from me. So when you connect with yourself at that level, it just gives you an ability to see around corners and see further than other people. So choose your core 5, right? You can do a search for human values. Give yourself 10 minutes, pick your top 10, and then break it down to just 5. And remember those values. If you can break it down to 3, even better, right? These are the core things that you stand for and you believe in. And if you make decisions based on those things, you're going to be more likely than not better off. So they can guide your decisions. Reduce the noise. When things get noisy and there's so much going on, your values can guide the way. They can show you your true north. Keep you authentic, build trust and credibility. Connect you to your audience because they know where you stand. Audiences want to see that. And make you resilient. And also, one thing that I've realized, and I'll just share this with you, and I don't know if anybody can testify to this, but we think success is material gain and power and possessions. Success is not any of those things, especially for the young folks here. I want to tell you that success is living according to your values. If you live in accordance to your values, you are successful. And you don't have to wait for one day. You can actually have that today, right? And when you see like that, you see how rich you all are. The other thing is strengths, right? Very important. But a Harvard University study found that only about 10 to 15% of people are actually in touch with themselves enough to understand their strengths. So remember, values, what you believe is most important. Now, what are you good at? What are you strong at? What separates you from the competition, right? So something that is a strength is something that consistently excellent performance in an activity. Involves a combination of your talent, your skill, your knowledge, and allows you to perform any task or a particular task exceptionally well. And that gives trouble to other people and that you find energizing. When you work with your strengths, you get more energy. You get more inspiration, enthusiasm, right? When you're working with your weaknesses, the opposite happens. It drains you, right? And you're not able to be as productive. So I'm always shocked at how many people don't understand what their strengths are. It's like Superman not knowing his superpowers. So let's talk about superpowers. How can you find them? Self-reflection and journaling. Do a recap of your life up to this point. What did teachers say that you were good at? What did your parents say that you were good at? You can reflect on your life and kind of come up with your strengths. You can journal. You can get feedback from other people. They always tell you, hey, you're so good at that, right? Experiment. Try new activities. Notice what you like, what you don't like. And, you can take a Myers-Briggs or a VIA survey to understand your strengths. And lastly, you can go and get a career coach or a counselor to help you tease out these strengths so that you can map them and you can work within them every day. Now, this is my cheat code for this. It is StrengthsFinder. Anybody heard of it? A couple of people? Okay. StrengthsFinder, $20. You can get your top 5 strengths. I'm not getting any money, no commissions from Gallup. I've used this, it changed my life, so I want to share it with you guys. Find out what your strengths are. These are mine. I took the full complement of strengths. There's 34 of them. And these are the top 10 that it gave me. And the cool thing is, those are your top 10, but look at the other ones that I'm not particularly strong in, right? You can use those, and you can prompt them up with AI potentially, right? You can use artificial intelligence to make you stronger in your own weaknesses. And you can leverage your strengths to use artificial intelligence to make them even more of an advantage for you. So that's the power of understanding your strengths. The other thing is, why does this matter? Because we want to maximize your potential. We want to make sure that you have a sense of joy and flow in your work, that you have an advancement opportunity in your career. The best thing I ever did is always work within my strengths, and you're able to move up the corporate ladder so much quicker because people see, wow, this person is really strong at that. And that shines through, and then you're the person that they go to. It builds confidence. It's great for your personal branding, better teamwork, and it helps you to keep growing, keep developing that muscle along those strengths. All right. So, and I'm rushing a little bit here, guys. Pardon me, because I know it's all late for all of us. So the third thing is your uniqueness. You know your values. You know your strengths. Now, this is from the customer looking at you. What makes you unique? And I love this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Make the most of yourself, for that is all there is of you. We only have one of you. So your job is to make the most of that you, right? So what's your unique selling proposition? A unique selling proposition is a distinct, compelling statement that identifies your unique benefits and tells the customer exactly why you're different and how you can add value to them, right? So crafting your USP, you want to highlight what makes you special from the rest. Make sure it speaks to what your audience really cares about and needs. Say it simple, straightforward, and make sure that anybody can understand it. Use the same message everywhere so people always recognize you, and make sure you promise something you can actually deliver. So these are the components of a USP, right? And it's going to give you a competitive advantage. It's going to help you attract more customers, sell more of your music or your product, and it's going to create brand loyalty and supercharge your marketing. So I was watching a Netflix, I think it was Netflix, a documentary. You guys see this about, it's great, right? It's fantastic. It's about how they did this over the course of a day, right? And it took weeks of preparation, but it came together in that day. And I was thinking, look at those artists, legends, right? Would you say that they all have a USP that you could probably identify? Like Michael Jackson, right? What's his unique selling proposition, right? Don't make me do the moonwalk up here, right? All right, so I was wondering, like, every single one of these legendary artists who are record-breaking sales of records and music, inspired billions of people around the world. If you notice, all of them have a clear USP, if you really think about it. And they also work within their strengths. One of the parts that got me the most of that documentary was when Bruce Springsteen was worried about his voice, because he has that raspy voice, right? And he was worried that he couldn't get it out. And Dylan was nervous because he doesn't have much of a voice, but that's not his strength. His strength was his lyricism and his deep introspection, right? And so I think that was fascinating. And I asked ChatGPT to come up with some USPs for some legendary artists, right? So this is what it came up with. Elvis Presley experienced the electrifying energy. Electrifying energy. You can't say Elvis without saying electrifying energy. The king of rock and roll, whose groundbreaking sound and unforgettable performances, right? Performances revolutionized music. I mean, it's pretty good, but it highlights some of the key things that were in his USP, right? Discover the unmatched vocal power. So unmatched vocal power. Soul-stirring performances. Queen of soul. These are the key words, right? Whose music embodies passion and authenticity. That's USP. And this hopefully gives you some ideas about your music. What do you stand for? What's your unique selling proposition? And then the Beatles, of course, journey through the timeless melodies and innovative sounds. And their sound changed over time, right? Their sound dramatically changed over time. And an iconic band that forever changed the landscape of music and culture. Stevie Wonder, soulful genius, blend of pop, R&B, and masterful songwriting. Creates an unforgettable musical experience. Michael Jackson, unparalleled talent, the king of pop, groundbreaking music, groundbreaking vocal technique, electrifying dance moves, that's why I love Michael Jackson, and global influence to continue to inspire. Beyonce embraced the powerhouse vocals, empowering not songs, anthems, right? Iconic performer who redefines music, culture, and artistry. She blended all those things together into what she does and how she shows up in the world. Taylor Swift, connect with the heartfelt storytelling. Heartfelt storytelling. Chart-topping hits. Global superstar whose relatable lyrics, evolving sound, captivate audience. So I can go on. Kendrick Lamar, profound lyricism, innovative beats, right? Pushing the boundaries of hip-hop and social commentary. Right? The man won a Pulitzer Prize, incredibly. So amazing talent. And so that being said, I love this quote from Carl Sagan, and I hope it inspires you. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. So in order for you guys to be here today and to have the talent and gift to share your music with the world and whatever talent you have, the universe had to be created first. Think about what that means. You saw that picture of me in the Grand Canyon? That's kind of what it means, right? That we are so little and yet so powerful. The universe has been created. The question now is, what will you create? It's your time. AI is there. It's going to be a tool. The question is, are you ready to give us your masterpiece, whatever that may be? Thank you so much.
Round of applause, please.